Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Matt Dowling. In late October, I was pleased to host my first Family Expo at the Uniontown Mall. The free event included more than 80 vendors from state agencies to local libraries and personal care organizations. Also, representatives from the Uniontown area YMCA were on hand and gave a fantastic Zumba demonstration to educate people about this fun way of exercising. It was a great time to bring so many resources together in one place to share information on how they can help improve the lives of our residents, both young and old. Several groups appeared on the Dunham's Court Center stage to offer short seminars on various topics. For those of you who weren't able to attend the Family Expo, I'd like to take a moment to share those informative presentations with you now. We begin with the posting of colors by the Albert Gallatin High School JROTC. Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. Order, colors. Colors reverse. March.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd ask that you please rise and join us in honoring the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard. Hold. Hold. Colors. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to our vocalist and to the JROTC program from Albert Gallatin Area School District this morning. You know, I want to take a moment just to welcome you to our first ever Family Expo. Our goal today is to provide something for everyone, and we wanted to make sure that we included items for children, parents, adults, senior citizens, veterans, and those who are members of our working class here in the 51st District. As I said this morning, there's more than 80 participating vendors, and I believe that we've really met our goal through these great organizations being here. With us today, you'll find the local Boy Scouts, area libraries, churches, home care agencies, personal care organizations, state agencies, and more. There are also interactive activities and demonstrations that are set to take place here on the stage throughout the day, so I would invite you, as you're here, to check your program book for the times and locations of those displays or presentations, because they really will help fill out our day. So without any further ado, we're going to begin today's expo. If you haven't done so yet, we would ask you to please register at the information booth. I would call your attention to two items that are a little further out. For those of you with young children, or for those of you who are interested in children's activities, directly behind the stage at the end of the hallway is PAC 180, who is providing a Pinewood Derby setup. They're with the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts of America. So we'd invite you to take a walk all the way down the hall towards the furniture store to visit them. And then outside of the Dunham's entrance, you will find a large van. They call it the Vet Van, and it has a number of services for veterans. So if you haven't made your way out there, please do so. We have a huge number of vendors and vendors that do really great things in our community. But one of our vendors here with us today is the Area Aging group, and working with them for quite a long time has been a friend of mine, someone I got to meet through Rotary, and that is Mrs. Gwendolyn Ridgely. And she doesn't know this, but Gwen had announced a week or so ago at an event that I was at that she was going to be retiring. And Gwen, I would like to officially present you with a citation for the work you've done over the years on the behalf of the House of Representatives. And it reads, Ms. Ridgely began her tenure with the Southwestern Pennsylvania Area Agency on Aging on October 9th, 1974. Throughout her career, she demonstrated remarkable knowledge, ability, and integrity in carrying out her many responsibilities, thus earning the respect and gratitude of all those who received the benefit of her tireless devotion to duty. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania congratulates Gwendolyn O. Ridgely upon her well-deserved retirement, heartily recognizes her exemplary record of service in keeping with the highest ideals and traditions of this Commonwealth, and offers best wishes for a happy and fulfilling future. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for Gwendolyn Ridgely, who will be retiring after how many years is that, Gwen?
43.
After 43 years service to our community. Please visit her at the Area Agency on Aging booth. They're down there towards Bon Ton today, and wish her a happy retirement. Another round of applause for Gwen, please. We promised that we were going to have different activities on the stage throughout the day, and we are bringing up our first presentation of the day, and that's going to be from Dress for Success. So if you are wandering throughout the mall and you want to take a seat and watch the presentation, you're more than welcome to do so. We're also recording these presentations for rebroadcast through a number of different channels. So without any further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage today the Division Manager for Fayette County Dress for Success, Tracy Whitted. Thank you, Tracy.
So as he said, my name is Tracy. I am the branch manager for Dress for Success Pittsburgh in Fayette County. Our mission is to help empower women economically through professional attire, career business tools, and networking opportunity to help people with their careers and also to thrive in life. A little background about Dress for Success. It started in 1995 by a lady who received an inheritance of $5,000 from her grandfather. She took that, and at the bottom of a church in Harlem, New York, and with 3 nuns, Dress for Success was born. So very humble roots, and it is now worldwide. We are in 24 countries, just added Uganda last year, Singapore the year before, and we are in 147 affiliates throughout the world. So the Pittsburgh affiliate is one of those affiliates that I am a part of. So the Pittsburgh affiliate has 4 branches. So we have the one here in Fayette. I'm in Uniontown, behind Maloney's restaurant. We all love Maloney's. And the other 3 branches are in Allegheny County in Oakland on Baum Boulevard. We have a branch in Washington County. That's by Washington and Jefferson College. And then we just opened Butler at the Holly Point building in Butler, PA. Washington also services Greene County. So let me explain how this works. We'll talk about, we have 3 programs. We're most noted for our suiting program. Any woman the age of 15 years of age or older is eligible to get suited for attire. If you need interview clothing, you're looking for an internship, court hearing, employment, any of that, you are eligible to come in to get clothing. There's no cost to the client, as we are funded by the state and by some of our corporate donors, PPG and Taylor, Talbots. They are some of our supporters as well. So how this works is through a referral base. Any nonprofit organization can refer a client. So you would just get a referral from them. We work with DHS, the Fayette County Community Action Agency, PA CareerLink, or just to name a few. If you can go through a faith-based organization. If you don't have a referral, you can just contact me and I will connect you with a referring agency. So that referring agency fills out your information, gets it to me. I then contact the client, and then we set an appointment for you to come into the boutique. Like I said, it is set up like a boutique, and it is an awesome experience. What we do is we take you as a client around the boutique. If you're there for an interview outfit or a court hearing, you will get one complete outfit. So you get shoes, you can get undergarments, you get 3 personal care items, 3 accessories, and you get a coat. We really work to provide you with everything you need to get that interview. The idea is you go out for the interview. Once you get an interview, you can come back for a second suiting, and that would be an employment suiting. When that happens, you would get 3 additional outfits, as well as more shoes, accessories, which we as ladies can never get enough of, personal care items, another coat, and so forth. So the idea is to help give you a hand up and to fill in that gap so that you can be as confident as you can be for your career or your job. Each client can get 2 suitings in 1 calendar year. So if you already are employed and you're realizing you might not be dressed appropriately for your career, you don't have to wait to get that interview. You can contact me and we can just give you your employment suiting. So yes, that is all done by referral and appointment-based. The process takes about an hour because it's trying on clothes. But that's how we like to treat our clients with personal shoppers and a suiting specialist, and really give you very personal attention for that time. All right. After that, one of our other programs is our helping to train and support you in your career tools and development. So we are developing ourselves like a resource hub of sorts. If a client comes in and says to us that they need computer skills, we are working with all of these community organizations, businesses and agencies, where we will connect you with the resources that you need. So if a client has a gap or something that's adversely affecting them to move forward in their career, we'd like to help buffer that and to connect them with the resources they need. I had a woman come in and she said she needed public speaking skills because she was in sales. So we were able to connect her with a business that was able to help. So some people are in need of transportation, childcare services. So we try to connect them with those organizations and agencies that can help them. So that's how our personal tool program works. We also help with computer skills, if they need help with budgeting, financing, using a checkbook, things of those nature. We offer help resume building. We do mock interviews. So these are some other tools that we use to help our clients. We also provide networking opportunities. We will introduce you to community partners, our staff, our team, and so if that is something you're looking for, we can definitely help you in that area as well. So other things that we could use help with is, this is a team effort. I can't do this myself, and it was never intended for a branch manager or any of us on the team to do it ourselves. We do need the help of the community. So we are looking for some very good volunteers and or interns. So volunteering at Dress for Success Pittsburgh is a great opportunity if you need community service hours, if you are a student and need credit, or if you just work in the community and you're able to give back to the organization. We always are in need of computer skills, data entry, inventory control, donation management, housekeeping. It doesn't matter how much time or how little time you think you can give. We could use your support, and we need you as a part of our team to help us here in Fayette. For example, if I do mobile suiting, or if I have to give a presentation, and that means I have to close the boutique. When the boutique is closed, that means there are women that are not getting the service they need. So if we have a good volunteer base, then they could be there servicing women, so I can go and get the things these women need and secure that in the boutique. So definitely volunteer opportunity is there for anyone. Also, let me talk about donation a little bit. We are a donation-based organization as well. The things that we need and are looking for are business attire or casual business attire. We need scrubs. We need khaki pants, non-skid shoes, personal care and hygiene items, handbags, shoes, jewelry. These are all things that if you have extra laying around or you would like to donate, we would ask that you would consider donating to Dress for Success. The donations must be clean, must be on hangers, and they must be somewhat modern, meaning your attire must be within 3 to 5 years. And here is the reason why. When a woman is going for an interview, let's say I'm an employer, and I just interviewed someone who had the resources to go to a Talbot's or an Ann Taylor. And I just interviewed her, and I have another woman sitting beside her who didn't have that resource. We want her to be as competitive with her attire as someone who is able to purchase that attire. So we need the clothes to be modern and clean. And again, we're looking for skirts, dresses, pants, jackets, sweaters, lightly, gently used, or new. So your donations are huge. We also partner with Goodwill. So any items we cannot use in the boutique, if they're too casual or too dressy, we donate to Goodwill. And then they work with us back in return. They pay us per pound, so those funds go back into the boutique. So nothing goes to waste. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about branding. And I'm not sure if any of you know exactly what that means. Branding is a way of how we present ourselves, how you want others to perceive you. So I wanted to share a few fun statistics. So first of all, it takes 3 to 7 seconds for someone to make a judgment about you. Good, bad, or indifferent, and we all do it. Every human being, it's subconscious. That being said, companies and corporations spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions to brand their product to get the right image. I'm going to give you some fun facts. So McDonald's spends $963 million on their branding. And when I say McDonald's, I'm sure everybody sees those golden arches and can taste the fries. At least that's one of my favorites. The NFL spends $1.07 billion with a B dollars for their branding. Okay? Pepsi-Cola spends $2 billion on their branding. And to top it off, Nike and Coca-Cola spends $3 billion on their branding. That means the logo, the jingle, the colors, everything that goes with their company. This is a huge money-making industry. That being said, the reason I'm saying this is that a company, when you are going to interview for a company, they're not just looking at your qualifications, your skills. They're looking at your branding. Do you fit in with our team? Are you adaptable? You are an ambassador of the company that you work for. You represent them. So branding is extremely important, your personal branding and your professional branding. That being said, this is why Dress for Success is here and exists. We have so many individuals, and I'm speaking specifically to women because that's who we do service, that feel it's okay to walk into an interview with their sweatpants, t-shirt, casual attire, and they might be highly qualified for the position, but they might not receive the position based on that visual response that the employer looks and thinks they are not going to be a good team player for us. They don't represent us or our brand well. Unfortunately, this happens mostly to women, and it's been going on for many years, and we're trying to help to overcome that. So that's why Dress for Success is here, to help women, and it doesn't matter what field you're in. We have helped women at my boutique that have worked in all places, McDonald's, Target, the bank, corporate positions, teachers. If you're in the nursing field, we work with a lot of the nursing schools and training schools. We will provide scrubs, non-skid shoes. I've even had women that were in the construction industry. We've provided steel-toed boots, construction hats. I even had a woman that wanted a pink construction hat, a hard hat. So we were able to get her a pink hard hat. So whatever industry or field you are in, we will work to provide that specific attire for you. Employers are looking for, if you come to the interview like you are serious about this job, you care about yourself enough to come presentable and appropriate, they're looking at that as, okay, this person is going to care enough to work for our company, our industry. And that's highly important. They're looking more for teammates on their staff. So presenting yourself personally. Speaking of which, and this goes out to a lot of individuals, let's talk about social media. So a lot of people feel that their social media is for them. Well, just to let you know, employers do look at your social media. So when you are interviewing, it's important that you are cleaning up those social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, whatever accounts that you have, because they are being viewed by potential employers. We talk a lot, I do presentations at the colleges. There was an experience once where a student was texting a professor and used inappropriate texting jargon and ended up affecting his collegiate career, so adversely. So this is very important, especially for the youth, to clean up your social media accounts. It's a part of your branding, which you don't realize. Even so much as your voice message. There was a young girl that I was doing a presentation at a university, and she, bright student, 4.0, engineering student, and wondered why she wasn't getting calls returned to her from potential employers. Well, I happened to call her phone to leave a message, and it was an inappropriate song left on the voicemail. So people, you think this is your personal phone, but if you're giving that out as a number for potential employers, you have to consider the message you're leaving on that phone. So different things like this that you don't realize is part of your branding as well. It's not just your attire, it's how you communicate, and it's also your body language. We also do presentations where we talk to people about your body language. When you're in an interview, the firm handshake, the eye contact, looking attentive. These are all skills that we talk to our clients about to help them in their process. And we do individual presentations as well. So it's important to know that your branding isn't just for your company, it's also personally for you. So that does mean when you are out in your personal life, you're still representing that company. It's just like myself or any of us. I represent my family. I represent my job, Dress for Success. I represent different groups of people that I'm involved with. And that's the same with the company. So it's important that you look and carry yourself and brand yourself just like a corporation would, obviously not spending the billions. So I wanted to share share with you a personal story of mine. Dress for Success is, for me, a calling and a passion. My husband and I'm married, I have 4 children, 3 in college, 1 in middle school, and my husband and I, when we were younger, faced quite a few years of unemployment. Part due to the recession, lost home, lost cars, we were left with nothing. We had to live with family. And then we were at the mercy of our church and our homeschool community as I homeschooled our children. And there was no program like Dress for Success around at that time. The clothes I was given, I was very grateful for, but were ill-fitting, and I felt insecure and inappropriate for the jobs that I was trying to get. So this is an awesome opportunity for anyone who is in need of these services or to volunteer and be a part of this group. We don't do this, obviously, for the money. It's a nonprofit organization, and it's many hours of hard work. We do this because we genuinely care to help others. I also wanted to draw your attention to some things coming up. We have what's called our Fab Sale. Our Fab Sale is our semi-annual fundraiser. FAB stands for Fill a Bag. So, all of our branches, Allegheny, Butler, Washington, and the one here in Fayette in Uniontown, behind Maloney's. We have 3 dates, the first Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of December. You can come in for the Fill-A-Bag sale. So what you do is you pay $10, and we give you a pretty handsome sized bag. And you can shop our boutique and fill your bag up with as much as you can for that $10. Jewelry will be $1 an item, and you can put 1 handbag per purchased bag. But you can shop that. The proceeds go back to the boutique to help us, so we do encourage everyone to participate. We've got tons and tons of items. This helps us to rotate our inventory as well. We hear Allegheny has a whole system. The women there in Allegheny bring rubber bands, roll their garments up tight so that they can get more in their bags. So we don't weigh the bag, so you can put as much in there as you can. This is great if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for college students, high school students, if you're already employed, or just for some Christmas presents. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity. I am here with 2 of my fabulous volunteers today. One of them is my daughter, who assists periodically, and Christina. Our booth is down at this end of the hallway, section B, I believe. So please come by, ask any questions. We do have sign-up sheets if you're interested in our services. Everything is confidential. Or if you're interested in volunteering. So we would love to speak to you. And we thank you today for this opportunity to share with you what we do here in the community of Fayette. Thank you so much.
At this point in time, we're going to start our next presentation of the day. This is going to be done by the Crime Victims Center. We have 2 lovely young ladies who are going to be sharing great information for you, information you might want to pass on to a family member or a friend. So I would welcome to the stage at this time from Crime Victims, Courtney and Marie. Put your hands together, please.
Okay, just making sure you can hear me. My name's Courtney Downey. I'm with the Crime Victims Center, and this is Maria Ottman. She's also with the Crime Victims Center. We want to first off thank Representative Dowling for having us here today and allowing us to come speak to you about what we do. We are a small nonprofit agency right here in Fayette County, right in Oliver Square Plaza. We primarily deal with victims of sexual assault and other violent crimes. We wanted to kind of get the word out because sexual assault people don't like to talk about. In fact, 1 in 4 girls will be sexually assaulted by the time they are 12 years old, and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they are 12 years old. So this happens a lot more than we think. 90% of sexual assaults that happen, especially with children, actually happen by a relative or a family member, someone that child knows and trusts. We were founded in 1975. We were actually one of the first rape crisis centers in Pennsylvania. We're one of 6. At that time, we only provided services to women. We were called the Women's Resource Center, and now we've kind of expanded our services to provide services to males, and we're more of a comprehensive agency. And I'll go into to what we actually do here in a little bit. Maria is going to kind of talk to you a little bit about some signs and symptoms to maybe recognize with your family members, with your children, friends, that might want to spark you to ask them a question.
So something to keep in mind is that this is something that's extremely hard for people to talk about. So we want to talk to kids when they're young. We want to keep it age appropriate. We want them to know what's okay touch, what's safe, what's not. The more you talk about it, the more awareness it's going to spread, and the more open children or even adults are going to be, they're going to be more willing to talk to you about it. In children, some things that you should look out for, okay, if maybe your son goes to the father's house for a weekend and all of a sudden they don't want to go and they're really nervous and they're begging you to stay home, keep an eye out for that, because that's a sign. And most people overlook it because it's easy to overlook. Oh, he just doesn't want to go, right? So just keep an eye on that. Some other things, lack of interest in things that they used to have interest in. There's academic problems. Maybe substance abuse is starting. Maybe more anger outbursts or more outbursts in general. So the trauma will later turn into mental health symptoms, drug and alcohol abuse. So those are definitely key and important. Also, something else that you want to keep an eye out for is their lack of affect. So are they talking about going to the beach this weekend and their face is completely flat? That's something you want to keep an eye on. They're not showing any emotions at all. So you could have one person who's the angry, very verbal, kind of fighting you back all the time. And then you have the kid that always shies away, doesn't talk to anybody, and has that no emotion. And while both are really important to address, you want to address the kid that's not really talking, because if they're not really talking, we're not seeing anything, right? So we're going to go straight to this kid because he has A, B, and C going on. But then this kid is more withdrawn at that point. So keep an eye out for those kinds of things. Maybe if you see bruising on their body in inappropriate areas, that's also huge. Keep in mind, as Courtney said, it's relatives and friends or neighbors or, a stranger that becomes close with a family, because that's what we call grooming. So what they do is they build the trust, they build that relationship with you to kind of eventually take advantage of it. They're gonna say, oh, this is our game, or you don't need to tell your mom about this. This is what people do if they love each other. Or the famous one, nobody's gonna believe you if you tell. So if a child tells you that something's going on, believe them, because if you don't, and then they tried to tell you once and now you just dismiss them, they're not gonna talk about it again. So definitely some things to keep an eye out for. And as they get older, sexual assault can happen to anybody. I think our oldest client was 70.
Yes, for sexual. For sexual assault, our oldest client was 70. But just to kind of give you an idea of the type of clients that we serve, just for those of you who are actually right here up in the front, how old do you think that our youngest client was? A youngest client that actually had to go to court, confront an offender, and testify. How old do you think they were?
2.
How old? 3. You said 3? You're actually correct. My youngest client that had to testify in front of the person that assaulted her was just 3 years old. Mm-hmm. Now, we also serve other crime victims as well, so aggravated assaults, homicides, thefts, burglaries, things of that nature. How old do you think our oldest client was for those? Any ideas?
She said 7. 7? Did you say 7?
We're talking about the oldest. How old do you think our oldest client was? 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are crimes that are impacting not only children, but elderly as well, and everything in between. I will say that most of the clients that I deal with have been probably teenage to 30s. But like I said, we do see a lot of young children and older adults as well.
And we do counseling for physical abuse as well, emotional abuse. Mm-hmm. And the emotional abuse, a lot of people overlook because they're just words, right? But sometimes that can instill a deeper impact than the physical. Not that one's more worse or better than the other, because they're all terrible. Yes. And nobody should have to go through that. But if somebody's saying somebody's bullying them or it is more verbal, that needs to be addressed just as much as the sexual or the physical abuse.
Absolutely. And she kind of gave us a little bridge into our actual services. We're a comprehensive agency, so we do have a number of different services. And like I said earlier, we're a nonprofit. So the great thing about our services is they're all free. So everybody that walks through our doors can receive services. They range from counseling to legal accompaniment to parenting classes, things like that. Everything we do is free of charge for everybody that we talk to. So that's a huge benefit of our agency. So a little bit about what we do. We have counseling, like Maria said. That is for victims of sexual assault and other violent crime. It's short-term counseling, so it usually lasts for about 6 months to a year, depending on how often that client needs it. We also have a therapist that actually came on board as well. So now we have therapy, which is more intense counseling, available for victims of crime. My job is accompanying victims through the legal system. So I'm a legal advocate, and we also have another legal advocate at our office. Her name is Megan Sims. We actually accompany a victim through the entire court process. So it could be, we can meet them at the initial police interview, or we can meet them at a preliminary hearing. And they actually have a victim advocate, which is us, accompany them through each and every hearing, meeting with a police officer, meeting with their attorneys, anything that they need us at, they have a right to have us at. That's another part of our job too, is we actually advocate for victims' rights. We make sure that your rights are upheld when you're going through the court system, because it's a confusing process. It's hard. There's a lot of people that say that the criminal justice system is more towards the offenders than the victims, and sometimes that's true. So we try to advocate and make sure all their rights are upheld throughout that whole process, so they still feel like they're doing what they need to do. We also have parenting classes. We have two different types of parenting classes. We have one that's mandated through CYS. That's an 11-week course that helps parents who may have lost their children or are in the process of, dealing with some CYS issues. They're mandated to come and take parenting classes to help gain their children back, to help them build some more skills to ensure that that never happens to them again. We also have a trans parenting class. That is for people who are going through a custody battle, and they are trying to learn how to co-parent. That is actually mandated through the courts. Anybody in Fayette County that is going through custody actually has to take that class. We also have medical accompaniment, which this is huge. Anytime that a sexual assault victim goes to the hospital, an advocate from our office is on call 24/7, and we accompany any victim of sexual assault to the hospital during their forensic rape exams. You would be surprised how many people don't have anybody with them when they go to the hospital. Most of our victims are children. Most of them are teens or young adults. They don't have anybody there with them, whether it be that they don't have support or that they're afraid to tell somebody. The good thing about us is that we're confidential. We can't tell anybody. We cannot tell anybody that you're there. Also, at the hospital, you have the option to anonymously report. This is huge. It's relatively new. Somebody can go to the hospital who's a victim of sexual assault. They may not know if they want to report it to the police right now, but they want that evidence collected because maybe one day they might want it. They may want to press charges. Anonymous rape reporting allows you to go to the hospital, get a forensic rape kit done, and they will preserve that evidence for up to 2 years. So that way that victim has an opportunity to think about what he or she wants to do, and actually they can contact the police up to 2 years later and still have all that evidence for court purposes and things like that, because these crimes are often he said, she said. So now that we have a program available to preserve that evidence for people who may not want to report right away, it is huge. It's huge.
And it's so important, it's so helpful that we have this agency and we can go with them throughout all of that, because they just went through this terrible victimization and now they're at the hospital and that's re-victimizing them. They're being touched in all these different areas and having photographs taken of them. It's a lengthy process, and it's scary. So we encourage people, if you know somebody, if you have a friend or a family member, anyone, just reach out to them, tell them that you support them, give them our agency's information. Like Courtney said, we're free. Like, you can't beat free, right? So
And lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is our 24-hour hotline.
Yes.
We have on-call volunteers, on-call staff. We're all trained in the same manner. We all have 40 hours of mandated sexual assault training. Everybody at our office, including our volunteers, take that same training, and it's actually a mandated class. So we're all trained sexual assault counselors. The 24-hour hotline is, like I said, 24 hours, and you actually get a real person that answers the phone. You're not going to get an automated message. You're going to get somebody that answers the phone, is ready to deal with your crisis right then and there. So that's available to anybody and everybody as well, even if it's just so much as calling to ask a question at 3 o'clock in the morning because you're up at night thinking. That's what we're here for, so please utilize the services. Is there any questions?
For anyone that's
Nope.
here.
Okay, we have a table set up right here in the back as well, right at the Dunham's entrance, so feel free to stop by. We have some information on our table, some giveaways, things like that, so we're here.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another presentation for you to enjoy at this point in time. It is my honor and privilege to welcome to the stage a couple individuals that I have known for quite some time. Val Sessler and Bill Long will be joining us as part of the Master Gardeners program at Penn State Extension. And it seems like they have a number of items they're going to talk to us and show us. So if you are wandering around the mall, you're looking for something to do, join us at the stage. We're going to start our presentation in just a moment or two. Couple quick announcements. If you haven't registered yet today, please do so. You'll be entered into a drawing to win free door prizes that have been provided by our 80-plus vendors that are with us here today. We'll be calling those on the half hour every hour. But at this point in time, as I said, it is my honor and privilege to welcome to the stage from Penn State Extension, the Master Gardeners program, Val Sessler and Bill Long.
Thank you, Matt. And I just have to say thank you to Matt for the legislation that just passed, the non-preferred appropriations bill that funds Penn State Extension and Penn State University. We are thrilled with that. So thank you very much. So I'm going to hold this. My name is Valerie Sessler, and I work for Penn State Extension, and I coordinate the Master Gardener program. So there's lots of things that we do as Master Gardeners. We go to schools and teach kids about gardening, different things. We go to community groups and speak about many gardening topics. And it's our mission as Penn State Master Gardeners to take the research-based information that we get from Penn State and disseminate it and teach the public about best practices in gardening. So this is Bill Long. He's a Master Gardener. He's going to help me today. And I thought maybe we'd have some kids, and I thought we should talk about poison prevention and the Mr. Yuck program. We go into schools every year in March and teach first grade students about Mr. Yuck and about how to stay safe around household chemicals. So the reason we do this is because every single year there are 2 million phone calls to the Poison Control Center. That's a lot of calls. And then out of that 2 million phone calls, the poisonings that happen, 9 out of 10 of them happen in the home. And then out of that group, over half are for kids under 6. So that's why we go to first grade. Another group that is impacted by poisonings in the home are seniors. And the reason for that is because as you get older and your eyesight is not the best anymore, trying to read those labels on bottles is really difficult. And then another group that happens to get poisoned in our homes are our pets. So we want to teach kids and parents about how important it is to keep household chemicals out of the reach of children and pets and seniors. So you must be thinking to yourself, if we have these chemicals in our home that are so dangerous, why? Why do we have them? Well, there's a reason. Have you ever heard of the word pest? Do you know what a pest is? Who can name a pest? Can you name a pest? A pest? What'd you say? A fly? A fly's a pest. Your wife? Maybe she's a pest. I don't know about that. You could have flies or mice or rats or maybe snakes or even outdoor pests could be poison ivy or weeds in your garden. Those are all things that live and breathe where we don't want them to live and breathe. So that's why we might have household chemicals to deal with these issues. How about athlete's foot in your shower? Bacteria? We have to use chemicals to kill the bacteria. Maybe we use bleach or other cleaners. Even if a kid came home with head lice, you're going to use the pesticide to get rid of that, I'm sure. So that's why we have these chemicals that are in our home that could be toxic. So when we think about using chemicals for these pests, though, we want to think about how to do it safely. So if you are in the house and you find some pests in your house, we have this process called integrated pest management. And what that does is you think about what kind of pest you have and what's the best way to get rid of it and how to do it the safest way possible. So the first thing you want to do is you want to learn to identify what the pest is. If you don't know what the pest is, how can you get rid of it? You have to identify it. There are chemicals that may be used for mosquitoes, and maybe there's different chemicals that are used for different kind of bugs. So you need to kind of identify the pest. The next thing you want to do is look around to see how many you have. If you have 1 or 2 pests in your house, maybe that's okay. You don't need a chemical for that. You could use a fly swatter to kill a fly. You could block up the hole that the mouse is coming in so the mice don't come in. And none of those involve using chemicals. The third thing you want to think about is the chemical control. So maybe you have an overrun of fleas from your dog, or maybe you have a lot of mice, or a lot of cockroaches, or even termites. You're probably going to want to use a chemical for those. But you just want to think about the best way to do it and the safest way to do it. So all these chemicals that we have and around our house that can be hazardous, if they have some level of toxicity, then they have something called a signal word. So there's 4 signal words, and Mr. Long's going to hold up our poster here with the signal words on them. The first one is called caution, and that one's the least toxic. It's the one in yellow. The second word is warning, and that one means moderately toxic. It's in orange. The third one is danger poison. That is the most toxic or could be deadly. And the fourth one is called danger, and that one causes severe skin or eye irritation. So just a little bit of history about what those mean. I'll show you some chemicals that we have that have those different words. Clorox is a household chemical that we all use. It has a danger signal word on it. So that means if I spilled this on my skin or got it in my eyes, it can cause severe skin damage or eye irritation. Here's a bottle of Lysol cleaner. It has a warning signal word on it. So that means it's moderately toxic. This bottle of Drano actually has the danger poison with the skull and crossbones. That means it could be deadly. And then just as a matter of course, have you guys seen these Cascade pods or the detergent pods that look like this? They look like candy. There are tons of kids that get poisoned every year because they see these things and they think they're candy and they eat them. And they could be really seriously deadly to a child. So what these terms mean, if you have the caution signal word, that somebody my size could eat or drink about 8 ounces. And if I do accidentally drink or eat 8 ounces, I'm going to feel pretty sick. But once it passes through my body, I'll be okay. The warning signal word means that somebody my size could eat or drink just maybe a teaspoon or more. And if I do accidentally eat or drink something with the warning signal word, I'm going to get really sick. And I'm probably going to have to go to the hospital. So the danger poison signal word, all that takes is just a touch to my tongue or even too much inhaling of a danger poison signal word can cause serious illness or death. So gasoline is another thing with a danger signal word. You never want to let children get too close to gasoline because the fumes could be deadly. And then the fourth one, of course, danger. And that one means if I get it in my eyes or on my skin, it can be highly dangerous to my skin. So, like I said, all these chemicals that you have around your house have one of these 4 signal words. And if you do have products like this in your home, and you have children that come to your house, maybe grandkids or neighbor kids, you want to make sure you keep these products out of their reach. And you want to keep them up high or locked in a cabinet. My house, I don't have children, and I don't have a lot of children visitors, but every chemical that I have that has a danger, poison, or caution, or warning, any of those signal words is underneath my sink in my kitchen, or underneath my sink in my bathroom. That's a terrible place to keep chemicals that could be poisonous. Children come in, the first thing they do, especially when they're short to the ground, they crawl around, they put something in their mouth. First thing they see, they put it in their mouth. So that's why it's so dangerous, and that's why you should keep chemicals up above or locked up. So another thing I want to tell you about is chemicals that look alike. So this is a bottle of Gatorade, or Powerade, and it's this lovely color blue. This is Windex. It has a caution signal word on it. It's the exact same color as the Powerade, and most children and even adults, they identify something that they can eat or drink by either the color or the shape of a bottle. So if you have an empty Coke bottle and a kid sees it, even if there's nothing in it, he's going to say, that's Coke, that's something I can drink. If you had a milk jug that was empty, or maybe you put something else in it, a kid sees that milk jug, he's going to think that it's something to drink because he knows it's milk. Same thing with the color. If a kid saw this and he knew that Gatorade was blue, he might open this up and drink it and get poisoned accidentally. So you never want to put products that have a label into a bottle that doesn't have a label, because kids won't know the difference. If they see the color and they think it's something good to eat or drink, they will eat or drink it. I have a story to tell. I have a friend whose dad, she worked for the pesticide education department at Penn State. She came home from the grocery store with a big bottle of Pine Sol cleaner, and she set it on the counter. And her father came in, and he saw it, and Pine Sol is just about the color of this. It looks like apple juice. He took the lid off and took a big drink of it. She had to call poison control to find out what to do because her dad ingested quite a bit of Pine Sol. He was okay, but she works for Pest Ed, and she had to call poison control. So that it happens so quickly. You have to be really aware. So the next thing we'll talk about is, we talked about how to keep things up high so kids can't to get to it, but Mr. Yuck. So Bill has a picture of Mr. Yuck here. Do you guys know Mr. Yuck? There seems to be so many kids that don't know about Mr. Yuck anymore. So that's one of the things we teach kids. When you see Mr. Yuck on a bottle, you don't want to eat it, you don't want to smell it, you don't want to drink it, you don't even want to touch it. So we give out Mr. Yuck stickers to all the kids. We ask the kids to take them home, and we give them a job. We say, hey, we want you to go home and teach your parents about how to be safe around chemicals. Kids love to teach people stuff. So they take those stickers home, they tell their parents about what they learned, and they go around their house and they put Mr. Yuck stickers on all the bottles that have one of those 4 signal words. So that way, when kids come over or their friends come and they see that, they know to stay away. So there is a number for the Poison Control Center. It's 1-800-222-1222. That is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anywhere in the United States, you can call that number if there's an accidental poisoning in your home. So the other things that we do as master gardeners is, like I said, we teach people about gardening. We have a garden hotline at the extension office. If ever you have a problem with your tomatoes or your lawn, or you find some kind of strange bug that you don't know what it is and you want to know what it is, you can call our office. So you should stop by the table and talk to me later, and I'll give you my card, and if you have any questions, you can call us at the extension office. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we're going to be starting our next presentation for the day, and we are going to welcome to the stage Stephanie from Senior Life. Senior Life was one of our presenting sponsors for today's event. And in addition to those of you who are in the audience watching today, we're also recording this presentation for future rebroadcasts. So at this point in time, put your hands together for Stephanie and our presentation for Senior Life. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. So I'm here today to talk about community health choices. Beginning in January of 2018, Pennsylvania is improving the way that we provide services to people enrolled in both Medicare and Medicaid. People enrolled in Medicaid waivers for physical disabilities and older adults, and Medicaid-eligible people who live in a nursing home. Community Health Choices is a Medicaid-managed program. This means you'll choose a health plan to manage all of your physical care and long-term services and supports. CHC will not change your Medicare benefits. CHC will give you a choice of plans. The plans will give you control and access to a full array of quality services. The services will provide independence, health, and quality of life. There are 3 managed care options as well as Senior Life to choose from: AmeriHealth Caritas, PA Health and Wellness, UPMC Community Health Choices, and Senior Life. If you qualify for CHC, you will receive more information in the mail, or you can call the number that can be provided to you if you ask Joy from Senior Life, sitting on the bench on the left. Senior Life Uniontown will be hosting an informational session about CHC on November 6th at 12 p.m. Anybody is welcome to attend if you'd like more information about CHC and the changes that are coming for the first of the year. I also have a comparison sheet if you're interested. It shows you Senior Life's offerings, AmeriCare Health offerings, PA Health and Wellness offerings, as well as UPMC Community Health Choices offerings. So if you'd like more information on Senior Life or CHC, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, and also share more information about Senior Life and what we can do for you and your loved ones, and how we can benefit you and provide quality services. Thank you for your time and attention, and enjoy your weekend.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our last speaker come up for today, and it is a gentleman named Bob Junk from Republic Food Enterprises. So Bob, the mic's all yours. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, I guess it's good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here today. I would like to thank Matt Dowling, or Representative Matt Dowling. I always knew him as Matt, but I'd like to thank him for giving me the opportunity to be here today and talk about healthy food, knowing where your food comes from. I don't know if you're familiar with what I do. I am the Director of Marketing and Sales for Republic Food Enterprise Center located in Republic, PA. We're a modified food hub. We can do anything for a client or a farmer, from the ground all the way to the kitchen table. We've been in business now for a little over 2 years doing this. We've been working on this project for over 4 years, which the first 2 years was pretty much development stages. Right now we have a complete line of jar products. We also are developing a meat product line too, which will have beef, pork, goat, lamb, and poultry. In the future we'll have that. Right now we have a full line of dairy products, whether it's cheese, milk. Some of you are probably familiar with Jackson Farms. We are working with them and promoting and marketing their milk at our stores and other locations. We also have cheese products, both hard and soft. And then we're also developing a goat line cheese also. Right now we're developing a line of frozen food, which would be basically vegetables. We're in the process of installing a flash freezer, but right now with our freezer system we have, we can pretty much freeze vegetables within about 15 minutes. They can be frozen solid. And then we package them in vacuum packed bags and then in 1 pound bags and 2 pound also. A lot of people ask me what is healthier to eat, whether it's processed, preserved. When you take a look at food in general, the most nutritional value of that product is eating it fresh. When I say fresh, off the vine, and actually the closer you eat the fruit or vegetable at harvest time, the higher the nutritional level is of that product. There's a big difference between a vine-ripe product or a bush-ripe product versus a product that has been picked a little on the green side and then so that it has a longer shelf life. But that's not always the best way to have a product, because the natural sugars or the natural vitamins have not had the opportunity to fully mature. And so you're really not getting the full value, nutritional value of that, that tomato or strawberry. I always tell people, if you really want to experience the difference between local versus a product that may have been picked in California or Florida, do strawberries, especially in the spring. The June berries usually have very good sugar content in them and very sweet. But go to a local farmer's market in the spring. And buy strawberries from a local farmer, and then have your mom or even yourself go and buy strawberries at the store and compare the two. And I'll guarantee you'll pick the local strawberry over the other type strawberry. Same way with tomatoes. Tomatoes that are vine picked and fully ripened are going to be a lot more juicier. They'll have a lot more, or the acid level of that tomato will be lower. You'll have a little bit, you'll still have that tomato taste that most people are familiar with, but you'll really get the deep flavor of that tomato. And it just goes right down the line, whether it's an apple, pear. A pear that is produced around here, and if you have it, versus a pear that you get in the grocery store and it's hard as a rock, and when you bite into it, you think that you almost need a chainsaw to cut it. There's no comparison between the two. And again, when we take a look at the highest nutritional level that you can get, again, it's closest to the harvest time, because as soon as you pick that fruit, or that tomato or that green bean, it's dying. So all the vitamins and all the nutritional level of that product is actually deteriorating. So the longer it sits there, the greater opportunity of the taste and flavor goes away. So going back, so which is, what process? Because, we can't have a garden all year round. We can try, but unfortunately, like tomorrow morning, we're going to potentially have snow, and green beans, tomatoes, peppers, I can generate a long list, does not like 32 degrees. So your local gardens are going to really be hurting tomorrow. So with that, you've got this whole issue of preserving. And we can preserve 3 different ways. We can pickle a product and put it in a glass jar. We can put it in a can. And then we can also freeze it. So I just want to explain those 3 different procedures because they have huge impact on our lives, whether just the issue of the preservatives that are used and what it can do to individuals that have certain restrictions in whether it's sodium or whether it's other type of preservatives that would cause them health issues. Today we're all been talked about and explained about the issue of moderating our sodium intake. And when we take a look at canned products, and I'm going to start with the canned products and work my way back, because the canned products are thermoprocessed, so they're heated up super fast, put in a can, sealed, and to get the shelf life that canned products has, the sodium content is usually high because the salt is what helps to preserve that product in the can. So when we do that process, you get great shelf life, but you run the risk of, if you have an issue with salt, you have to stay away from those type of products. So now you got freezing and you got jarring type pickling. I don't know how many of you have ever had pickled dilly beans, but I like vinegar, but there's certain things I just don't want in vinegar. And green beans are one. So that's my own preference. Same way with peppers. We package sweet peppers and pickle them. Again, they're good, but unless you like vinegar, there's a limit to what you can do, or what, as far as a line in the jarring side. Now you can can. When I say can, a lot of our parents did canning in the kitchen, where you fill up the masonry jar with corn and then you put it in a pressure cooker and you pressure cook it. That's all great. Again, you still need to add certain products to it to make it shelf stable, but then you got this huge heating process that you got to put it through also. If you're looking at the easiest and most, or the less complex that you have to do, is freezing. Today they got great freezer bags out there that you could take your sweet corn, cut it off the cob, and put it in a freezer bag. And usually that product, you can get about a 2-year shelf life out of it, but you have to keep it in the freezer. So you have to have storage space to be able to freeze products. Now, a lot of people says, well, what can you freeze and what can't you freeze? Well, it's up to you. If you freeze a tomato, it's not going to come out like a tomato. So you're not going to be able to cut it. But you can take that tomato, make tomato soup, tomato sauces, just a number of different things. And it depends on what type of tomato you use. If you use a Roma tomato, there's a lot more meat. When I say meat, inside there's less water and there's more tomato. And then take a look at the regular tomatoes. You want to stay away from the huge tomatoes. When I say huge, in our industry we call them extra large. And that would compare to like a beefsteak. They're full of water. And so what you're doing is you're freezing water and then you have to cook it off. So when you're looking at freezing tomatoes, you want to pick a tomato that has a lot of meat in it and less water. But I'll tell you what, if you like broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, slice zucchini and freeze it. And what you want to do, if you're doing it at home, take a cookie tray, slice it to where it's about a 1/4 inch thick, put it on a cookie tray, put it in the freezer and freeze it. So that it's laying out, because what you want to do is you don't want to freeze it together as one huge clump, and that's what will happen. So you want to individually lay them on a cookie sheet and then put them in a freezer. We have had great success with freezing green beans, sweet corn, and I'll tell you, the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, you can freeze sweet corn on the ear if you want to. Now, it's up to you if you want to blanch it or if you just want to put it in the freezer without blanching. My preference is don't do anything to it outside of cleaning it, let it dry off a little bit, and then freeze it. Because what will happen is all the cells of that product or of that green bean or that corn will instantly freeze. And that's where you'll hold the texture of that vegetable for future consumption. Because you bring out, we're taking our green beans out right now and recooking them, and they still have the same kind of texture that if they were a fresh green bean. Matter of fact, they cooked up even a little faster because the freezing helped break down the cells a little bit. So when somebody asks me, well, what's the best way for me to do it? Guess what? Freezer bags are cheaper than jars. Freezer bags are cheaper than cans. Freezer bags are cheaper than having to sit there for a couple hours with a pressure cooker and jarring the products. So when you take a look at it, and this is my opinion, and what we're looking at Republic Foods, freezing is the best way and the most effective way if you want to hold down on and pull back from preservatives. So anyways, with all that, I don't want to take up a lot of time. Again, I want to thank Representative Dowling for inviting me here to speak. We do have a website. Feel free to give a look at it. It's republicfoodenterprisecenter.org. If you get any chance to do that, also, you can, I got business cards. If you're interested in business cards, feel free to come up and get some business cards. We are doing a number of different things for the holidays. We are doing Thanksgiving dinners. So if you don't want to cook a Thanksgiving meal, you could give us a call and we can do the turkey and all the fixings that goes along with it. And all you have to do is pick it up Thanksgiving morning at Republic Foods and it'll be hot and ready to serve. So, and then we're also doing holiday gift baskets and fruit baskets this year and they're built to what you want. So depending on what kind of fruit you want in your fruit baskets, we're willing to build them to your desires. So with that, thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk about healthy food and what you could still do. I mean, any of these processes are still good. I mean, you could go to a grocery store and still get some real good fresh vegetables and still freeze them or do whatever you'd like to do with them when you take them home. So with that, thank you and have a good evening.
It is quickly approaching the 5 o'clock hour, and our event here, our Family Expo, our first annual Family Expo, is coming to a close. I want to thank everyone who had a part in putting things together today. I want to give a special thank you to our host, the Uniontown Mall. Our sponsors today were the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology, Senior Life, Somerset Trust Company, Twin Oaks Home Care Incorporated, and UPMC Life Changing Medicine. We also thank our media partners, Froggy, The Pickle, and WMBS AM and FM radio. Without all of you, we wouldn't have been able to put today's event together. We had over 300 attendees, and in addition to that, we had nearly 100 vendors that were with us throughout the day. I want to thank you all for helping make today a huge success, where we could share with my constituents in Fayette County the products and services that help to make their lives a little bit better. A quick, very public thank you to the staff of my legislative office. They did a fantastic job in coordinating this over the past month or so, especially our office manager, Amanda Kateri, who this was kind of her event. Let's give her a big round of applause. They do say all good things come to an end, and we have come to that point. So I would invite back to the stage the JROTC program from Albert Gallatin Senior High School to retire the colors today. Would you please stand as able? Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. Order, arms. Center, face. Forward, march. Color guard, hold. Retire, colors. Right, face. Forward, march.
This concludes our Family Expo. Thank you for coming. Have a safe trip home, and may God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
You've been watching presentations from my recent Family Expo. I was thankful to our 5 sponsors: the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology, Senior Life of Uniontown, Somerset Trust Company, Twin Oaks Home Care, and UPMC, who helped make the event a huge success. I hope you'll consider attending next year's Family Expo. I truly believe there will be something there for everyone. If you have questions about what you've just seen or need assistance with a state government matter, please feel free to contact me at my local office or through my website or Facebook page. That information will be shown on your screen in just a moment. Thank you for watching.